Welcome to the Small Business Development Center. The Alaska SBDC has been operating since 1986 and has offices throughout the state of Alaska that serve for-profit small businesses. The way the structure works is we receive a federal grant from the Small Business Administration along with a grant from the state of Alaska. We are also part of the Business Enterprise Institute through the University of Alaska Anchorage, and we are employees of the university. The Alaska SBDC provides three primary services to small business owners: free, confidential, one-on-one business advising, small business workshops, and small business tools and referrals. To learn more about us or to register to become a client, please visit our website at www.aksbdc.org. I'm Stacy Stegar, Industry Specialist here at the Alaska Small Business Development Center, and I'm pleased to review this informative guide about opening a bed and breakfast in Alaska, what you need to know about licensing, regulation, insurance, and more. Just as a reminder, all green underlined text links will take you directly to the document that is listed. Our first slide is on research. Before you take any action, it's important that you research the business that you're opening. Check out the Alaska SBDC Starting a Small Business Workshop, and also ask yourself the 20 questions before starting a business. Things that you'll need to determine right away are: will you have a physical location outside of your primary residence? And if so, will you lease a space, buy space, or build space? If your business will be in your home, be sure to check zoning, covenants, and neighborhood rules. You'll want to know how many rooms you're going to rent, what type of food service will be provided. And answering these questions will help determine how your business is defined by state of Alaska agencies. You'll also want to start researching costs. And the Alaska SBDC has a tool to help you create financial projections and to get started with basic bookkeeping. After you've done your research, you're ready to proceed. The first thing you're going to want to do is obtain licensing. And to operate a bed and breakfast in Alaska, you'll need the following business licenses: a state of Alaska business license, and you'll need to have a NAICS code for that. And there's links down below on what a NAICS code is, how you get it, and how you choose one. You will also need a borough, municipality, or city license where applicable. If you are providing services in conjunction with the lodging, like transportation, selling merchandise, you may need to get additional business licenses. A single state business license enables your business to engage in any activity within the assigned line of business. Here's some definitions for you so you can decide which kind of bed and breakfast you're going to want to open. There's a private residence, which is 5 or fewer rentals and is owner occupied. There's a public accommodation, which is more than 5 rentals and or not owner occupied. And finally, public accommodation with no food permit. You can have 12 guest rooms or less, and 24 or fewer guests are accommodated per night. And only a complimentary continental breakfast is served. The state of Alaska regulations and requirements are different for all types of bed and breakfast, but anyone operating a bed and breakfast must comply with state of Alaska building codes. The fire marshal also requires that construction, repair, remodel, addition, or change of occupancy of any building, structure, or installations, or change of fuel tanks must be approved before any work is started. There's information on a link here to the Alaska Fire and Life Safety Regulations. A plan review will be required for all public accommodations. The plan should include a site plan with building locations, including all the structures on the property, the area, height, number of levels, and the occupancy, the construction type, the interior finish, exit facilities, electrical and mechanical systems, and fuel storage tanks and their appurtenances, and automatic fire extinguishing systems and fire alarms. Note, several municipalities and communities have accepted a deferral for full code enforcement. Plans should be sent directly to the city you will be doing business in. The review does not address structural considerations or accessibility requirements, and the mechanical and electrical review is limited. Next, building permits and fire safety. The building permit application includes a completed plan review application and construction document to go to the plan review board. The fire marshal's office will calculate a plan review fee and will review plans after receipt of the fee. The complete review may take 4 to 6 weeks. For additional information, follow the link to Plan Review Bureau. Fire safety. Bed and breakfast establishments that are considered to be public accommodations must be in compliance with state fire regulations. These regulations cover automatic sprinkler systems, smoke detectors in sleeping areas, in every room in the path of egress, and in each story within the sleeping unit, including the basement, and also carbon monoxide detectors. Bed and breakfast establishments that are not considered public accommodations are subject to the same requirements as residential property owners. However, the state will not monitor compliance. You are required to have escape windows from sleeping rooms, smoke alarms, and carbon monoxide detectors. The Division of Environmental Health, or the DEC, oversees safe drinking water, food, and sanitary practices. And the DEC conducts reviews, provides training, handles inspections, permitting, and investigations for facilities that process, manufacture, and serve food. Public accommodations are required to comply with regulations for public accommodations. Start over. Public accommodations are required to comply with 18 AAC 30.400 to 18 AAC 30.470, or regulations for the public accommodations. These regulations cover buildings and grounds, water supply, sanitary installations, sanitary practices, permits that are at the discretion of the department, and food service permits. If you have less than 12 guest rooms and accommodate less than 24 guests per night and only serve complimentary, continental, or cook to serve, you do not need a food service permit. If you have more rooms or serve more guests or meals, you will need to get a food service permit. Local government requirements. Number 1 is building codes. In addition to state of Alaska building codes, many local communities will also have their own building codes. Be sure to review the various local laws to determine whether it's legal to operate a bed and breakfast in your community, or if it's feasible to renovate a property to meet code requirements. Local building codes may exceed the state standards. Also, check to see if your community has accepted a deferral for full code enforcement. If so, forward your plans directly to that entity. You may also encounter zoning. Not all local governments have zoning laws. However, if your community has adopted them, review local and borough code to determine if your bed and breakfast is a permitted use. Last, lodging taxes. Statewide, more than 40 government jurisdictions have lodging taxes. Check with your local borough or city to find out if your area does. The next section is on purchasing insurance. If your bed and breakfast is in your home, you will want to check with your insurance provider to see if a homeowner policy will cover paying guests. Remember that a bed and breakfast involved in multiple lines of business will require additional coverage and/or types of insurance. Be sure that your agent has experience insuring hospitality businesses to determine an appropriate liability limit and any additional coverage that you may need. Also, make sure that you ask your insurance provider about additional coverage that may protect your business and/or personal property. For more information, there's a business insurance for small business workshop available through the Small Business Development Center. In addition to homeowners and general liability insurance, if you have employees, you need to carry workers' compensation insurance. Business owners with no employees are usually exempt from workers' comp. However, some contractors will still require owners to carry this coverage. Workers' compensation covers employees' medical expenses in the event that they are injured on the job. It can replace lost wages. It may provide death benefits. It limits the probability of an employee lawsuit, protects your business from lawsuits, and also it's required by state law for employers with employees. To register for taxes, you'll apply for an employer identification number, an EIN, with the IRS. If you are a sole proprietor without employees, your Social Security number can be used instead of an EIN, and you can skip this step. If you do need one, your EIN will act as a business ID. It's also known as a federal tax ID or tax ID number, TIN, and it will be needed to open bank accounts, for hiring employees, and for tax reporting. There is a link below to apply for an EIN on the IRS website. For operational setup, if you're going to be arranging for finance, there is an SBA loans and what the lender requires workshop, and you can always talk to an Alaska SBDC business advisor for information and guidance. Set up a business bank account and consider applying for a business credit card. Hire a bookkeeper or accountant if you don't want to fulfill those roles yourself, or purchase bookkeeping software such as QuickBooks. We also have a basic bookkeeping for entrepreneurs workshop to get you started on that. Branding and marketing. This is important for every business. And while researching whether or not you were going to pursue opening a B&B, you were asked to think about what your niche is. Who's your customer and what makes your services unique? Your niche market can be used to identify and develop your brand. Branding should begin before opening your B&B and taken into consideration when picking out design, decor, and fixtures for your business to choose a cohesive image. You might consider hiring a professional to develop your logo and branding kit for print or online uses. You may want to hire a branding specialist locally, or if that's not available or feasible, check out sites like Fiverr or Design Crowd. Once your logo and brand kit is complete and before opening, you'll want to make a Facebook and Instagram account and start posting. If social media is not your thing, consider hiring a professional to manage your social media marketing. Also, ask your business advisor for a referral list to find a qualified provider. You'll want to build a website, and this too can be hired out if you're not comfortable doing it yourself. You'll need to order business cards and/or appointment cards, and of course, rack cards with a list of services and pricing. When running any business, it's important to understand how cash flows through the business and where the break-even is. Clearly understanding your operating costs and market prices can help a business owner price services and see where costs can be cut or where funds are the most efficiently spent. For more information regarding cash flow, see the break-even worksheet and the financial models worksheet, and/or speak to an Alaska SBDC advisor. You can always get help from the Alaska Small Business Development Center. You've done all your research and you still have questions, be sure to give us a call. The Alaska SBDC provides resources, workshop, and no-cost business advice. Assistance is provided by experienced business advisors and experts through on-site and/or online interactions or training, and once again at no cost to clients. You can register here to work with an advisor. The final page is resources that you may find valuable as you continue on with your journey to determine whether or not you want to open a bed and breakfast. We have special thanks to the State of Alaska Department of Commerce, Community, and Economic Development. Start that over. Special thanks to the State of Alaska Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development, Division of Economic Development, for allowing us to use information contained in the State of Alaska requirements for bed and breakfast. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you find this information valuable.